Hey everybody, welcome back. My name is Zach Hampson. Today, as part of the revamp to this channel, this is going to be the tutorial side of videos. So my tutorial videos will be titled Let's Paint. And in them, it'll have whatever I painted in the previous video, but an in-depth tutorial of me voiceovering the painting process and talking you through the process as I go. So from now on, whenever you see Let's Paint in the title, know that it's a tutorial from me, from whatever the previous video painting session was, or maybe it's just a painting session that I didn't film in the previous video. But yeah, hope you enjoy, hope you get a lot out of this. I'll see you on the other side.
Godlow on the track.
Welcome to the first in this tutorial series, everybody. Super stoked about starting this series up. I don't want to make these too long, in-depth sort of tutorials, so be the basic stuff. So let's start with my palette, same palette I use all the time. Titanium white, cad yellow, cad red, yellow ochre, burnt umber, ultramarine blue, and phthalo blue. This is just a palette I use indoors, outdoors, everywhere. This is just my go-to palette. I might add maybe a couple of different reds every now and again, maybe a ivory black when I feel like it, but other than that, this palette doesn't really change. I'm thinking about changing this palette up a little bit, but maybe that's another video. So you can see this is just really cut dry plein air painting from me, really. So I've gone ahead and skipped forward a little bit, already blocked in the sky with that sort of gradation from the deeper blue in the top part of the sky to the lighter part at the horizon. And you can see I've scumbled in the drawing with a little bit of burnt umber and kind of made that burnt umber a bit more flowy by throwing in a bit more linseed oil than I would usually use for it. And so that's what I kind of used to draw up my scenes there. I've actually had a question on that a couple of times, so there you go, there's the answer to that. So with this scene here, I've sort of, with the saturation of the mountain there, I've pushed the saturation back with a lot of white, and so when you really get up in, and when you see the painting in person, you can tell that far mountain cliff range, which is actually behind this close range, is going to be a lot duller in saturation. And that's just the basic optical illusion of atmosphere. That's atmospheric perspective 101. Things that are further away appear less saturated in color. It's just because there's a lot more atmosphere between where I am and that object. So things that get further and further away become have more atmospheric perspective. So there's a lot more atmosphere between you and that object. It's just that basic sort of principle. Things that are further away, less saturation, and oftentimes things that are actually far further away than what this hill is here, they actually turn a bit blue. So knowing those things, we can use that trick, and when we're painting things that we want to push real back, we'll turn them a little bit blue and less saturated. And when we see that, we just instantly, we're like, yep, I know that that's far away, and things that are closer to me, I can see more contrast, more saturation. So yeah, this is just a big key thing. So if you're painting on plein air, you want to push something further back, just do that. Or if you paint on landscape in general, I suppose. You can see that I've mixed in, I've put down all my shadows for where I want to do it, with this closer hillside here. And I'm building from the shadows outwards, and I'm sort of working the rock face from the shadows outwards and working around that rock face, up and around the shadow forms that I've already put down. I just kind of find that on top of a drawing, if I then put in the shadows sort of help me, really get some sort of legs underneath me to start really working a painting. So that's just like my number one tip, really, is like, if you want to really help yourself when it comes to getting your composition and sort of figuring out things, just start with, like I've said this so many times, if you just start with basic shapes and then basic values. Just be blocky as you can, and then slowly refine. That's kind of the gist of painting, really. It's just painting 101. It's like start simple and then refine. Nobody ever starts baking a cake from eating it, you know what I mean? So you don't start at the end, start from the beginning, combining the rawest of the raw elements together, basic shapes, basic values, and then just slowly building on top of that, like I am here. You see, I'm building on top of those basic shadows now with a bit more variance in that, with the different greens to the lighter greens, and the different rocks with the deeper reds into the lighter yellows of the sunlit rocks and stuff like that. It's just a matter of patience, really, and just slowly building upon each individual aspect as you lay it down. That's kind of my go-to flow when I paint on plein air. I have been trying to mix it up a little bit with the way that I approach things, because I've been learning a bit more, but like off of a couple of different artists which have some very unique approaches, which I kind of like. But I'll go into those when I do them in some videos for you, so I won't just sit here and explain what I'm not doing while you watch me do something completely different. Putting in that horizon line now there at the back, I feel like a nice clean-cut horizon line can really, if it's unleveled and you stand back, if you're up close to the painting and you put in the horizon line, it'll oftentimes look fine. Step like maybe 1 meter, 2 meters away from it, and you're gonna look at it and you're like, ooh, that horizon line's going up and to the right, a bit too hard. It should be flat. So just check it. I've had that happen so many times, and then I've got to go back in the studio and be like, get out the ruler or the angled ruler and just really line it up and make it squared off. So but you can help it by sort of just stepping back and just checking, So I'm coming into the water now. Same sort of deal, as in I put in the darker shapes first. So I'm just laying down some darker shapes for the water itself, and then I'm coming into the front part of the sand. And so for the sand, the darkest part of the sand I found was the wet sand. So I'm just working from the wet sand up to the dry sand, really. So I've cropped this shot so that I didn't have a lot of the sand in the foreground. I really just wanted this expanse of the water to be the foreground, really. And because when I started on day 1, the water was super still, very calm. But day 2, the water's just so choppy, and I can't really see what it was that I was looking at. In day 1, it's just the nature of plein air painting. I mean, if I really wanted to, I could just scrape it back in the studio and just start again to what it was that I was seeing on day 1, if I liked that better. Or, start again based off of this plein air painting for maybe a bigger panel in the studio, just work off of that. But, don't be married to the scene before you. If something you like better and you think works better, do that. Don't feel like you're just at the mercy of whatever's in front of you. Feel free to change up things and shift things around. Like if there's no tree there, put a tree there if you think it's going to work better. If there's no rocks there, put a rock there if you think that's going to work better too. So just all these elements, you can chop and change and mix and match. Everything is for the betterment of the painting, not to be completely true to life. We want to improve on life oftentimes, and by doing that, we make calls and make decisions on, putting things places and taking things out of places. Really, when we're painting on plein air. It's just something to really help when you're thinking about composition and style of your painting, just stand back from it, think about, what could really help this scene. What is it that I could add, or oftentimes what is it could I take away from the scene? And that kind of comes down to all the prelim work. So having the sketchbook, doing a couple of thumbnail sketches in the sketchbook is kind of where all that happens. But other than that, that's going to be it for this painting. I hope you enjoyed. I really enjoyed this painting session, and really enjoyed putting together the video with the drone and all that sort of stuff. And I hope to bring out more of these tutorials based on those videos and stuff for you guys to watch and learn from, and get a bit more extra out of those videos.
Godlow on the track.
Awesome, so thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, hit subscribe, and comment below. Let me know what you thought about this video. Another thing you can do right now, get yourself some free content, is go over to my website, zachhampsonartist.com, link is in the description, and you'll be able to sign up to my newsletter. What this newsletter does is allows 24-hour early access to all my latest videos, so you get that exclusive early preview of the video before anybody else, as well as exclusive reference photos related to those recent videos that you'll be able to cop over on the email to use as you will for your paintings and studies or whatever it is you want to do with those reference photos. They're yours to use when you subscribe to the email listings, the newsletter on my website. Go check it out. But yeah, until next time, I'll catch you all guys in the next video. Peace.